We are extremely shocked to see the way this matter has been dealt with.
Justice Sonia Wint-Blair said the court could not extend the time set down in laws governing elections. But for Mr. Wildman,
nobody's asking the court to do that.
And if they want to be difficult, I can be difficult too, and I'm going to be difficult. And all because the fact that they are now required to leave the school.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, Paul Buchanan's lawyers are shocked at the verdict handed down by the judge in wanting the courts to overturn the elections of September 3rd, 2025 between Paul Buchanan and Anju Oates, as well as the Minister of Local Government, who is also one of the chairperson in the recovery process of Hurricane Melissa, has given a deadline to residents who are sheltering at a school in Westmoreland that they have until the 31st of December to get out of the shelter. A principal director who goes by the name of Daniel Archer from the National Integrity Action has resigned. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
We are extremely shocked to see the way this matter has been dealt with.
Justice Sonia Wint-Blair said the court could not extend the time set down in laws governing elections. But for Mr. Wildman,
nobody's asking the court to do that. The law is clear. Time does not run against a nullity. If something is a nullity, it means that it never occurred. It is void ab initio. So if the matter progressed as we had hoped it to progress to the election trial and to void it, and they made that announcement that the election is void, then time started to run from that time. So I don't understand how the court could have come to this conclusion.
The ruling also stated that the period during which the authority could have applied to the election court has passed, and any application is statute barred. In addition, the time frame outlined in the law is a knockout blow to the success of the application.
Can't be out of time. Within 9 days after the constituted authority rule not to send it to the election court, he filed an application for leave for judicial review. He came to me and I filed it. The law says he has 14 days to go to the constituted authority, and he went there in 9 days.
Still, the court stated that it's futile to compel the authority to make an application, and there is a need for finality in electoral matters. The court said the threshold test has not been surmounted and the application was not arguable.
That person having voted, drop it in the box, come back for another ballot and say that ballot spoiled. I was given another ballot to go and vote by the presiding officer. These are serious breaches. We have examples where you have, that is a key one. Key one is where they are to leave the polling station because mass men jumping over fence in schemas taking over the polling station. You know? The issue here is, which the court should have focused on, are the breaches that were placed before the court sufficient to compel the court to have the constituted authority refer the matter to the election court? Because once we go there, we know the election will be voided. So the questions have not been determined up to now in this judgment.
And he is perfectly correct to say that the questions have not been determined. With all the evidences that provided, they still did not determine whether or not the allegations were true or false. They basically ran out to say time expired. Them never know that from before. The man a file, and the judge set the dates. Now the judge them set the dates. So how is it that time run out all of a sudden? ABR family and viewers, whole heap of questions here than answers. But you all heard it. The attorneys for Paul Buchanan says that they will, appeal the judge's decision.
Shelter. The shelters that are in the constituency, they have been inappropriate from the beginning and they continue to be inappropriate. There isn't a bed or a cot or anything in any of the shelters. To be frank, there are persons that are not even aware that some of the shelters are still open with over 20 persons in each one of them. And that means if you're not aware, you couldn't possibly be making any provisions for the residents within those shelters. The persons who are in the shelters are obviously the most vulnerable. They don't have anywhere to stay, they don't have any relatives to stay with, and that's the reason why they're at the shelter. And I realize that the Ministry of Education has also taken on an initiative to reopen schools as soon as possible, which I support because we want to decrease the learning loss. But in moving the persons from these shelters, majority of which are schools, so that school can reopen, certainly we can't just move them without making provision for them to stay elsewhere. In terms of emergency evacuation and shelter, housing of these persons, we have not seen any of those tents that are supposedly in the country that should be made available. I'm told that it was said in the Senate on Friday that tents went to Dayton Campbell, unless there is another Dayton Campbell that represents somewhere in Jamaica. It's certainly not this one. I have not been made aware of any tents. And I want to be on record as saying, I will never support moving out the persons out of the shelter unless we make provision for them. I will block it myself personally. That is inhumane, and we have to do better. So yes, we want the schools to open, but we must make adequate provision before we move the persons out of the shelters.
And if they want to be difficult, I can be difficult too, and I'm going to be difficult. And all because the fact that they are now required to leave the school. Government is making provisions for them. Some are willing to go, some don't want to go. And I'm going to say this now. We are not going to compromise any of the 4 positions that was made to them on Wednesday.
The residents have been given until the end of this month to vacate the school. Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
They're putting in systems in place. Adapt them say. They're putting in systems in place. We have here a Daniel Archer. I came across this article here. Right? She's one of the champion, an attorney at law, who is one of the principal director for the National Integrity Action. She has been vocal. They mean business when them say people in a public life should be able to be held to a high standard and therefore to be held accountable. Right? She is one of these people that I look up to, as well as the Integrity Commission. But when we see them want to silence them independent bodies here, and we the people don't come out and stand in support of these independent bodies, it's telling, it's concerning. So Daniel Archer resigns as the National Integrity Action Principal Director. She are one of them when it come out, where it touch her to her core. When the Prime Minister of our country lied to the nation, it touched her to the core. When she heard the man tell a journalist, a reporter, same asks far and wide, and them people who want to govern with. And this we say when we choose Jamaica, we choose corruption, and no matter what they do or what they does, we don't see a problem with it. People say she should have gone a long time, she should have this, she should have that. Them have any form of intellect when them speak like this? So what you say to we then? You say to we say the way oh Anju have on a mind, battle for a mind and control on a mind with the high order we him under. Yeah, say to we say, when you see a woman like this for go on a long time, won't I say to we say, the Integrity Commission for go on. I will never take a stance like that. I, ABR, will never take a stance like that. We cannot allow them to play with our minds to the point where they are trying to dismantle the very same entities that are there to hold them to account. We were supposed to hold them to account just the same. We can't allow them to cast doubt in our mind. All of a sudden, all of them that were found to be under some form of investigation from the Integrity Commission, refuting, rejecting the reports from the Integrity Commission. Remember, the leader of a country determines the outcome or the outcome of the people of the country. So if you have one where disrespect these entities, what you think? If we have one that feels like is not answerable to anybody or any entity, I want to think it I go swear the country. Corruption is the order of the day. Corruption is the order of the day. And I feel so sad from September the 3rd until now to hear people are going to say we choose Jamaica. We not have to choose Jamaica. Jamaica chose us. From your born on the Jamaican soil, you are a Jamaican by birth. Anyways, big up yourself, Daniel Archer, a true champion for justice and integrity. Much respect. What says you, ABR family and viewers? Do you agree that Paul Buchanan should continue his fight and appeal this judgment by the constituted court? What says you about the ordering of the persons in the shelter to remove? The government says that they're putting things in place to get them to, other areas. Talk up in the comment section. What says you? Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.